And now it's time for the Insiders with Chuck Chvala and Scott Jensen, sponsored by the Wisconsin Counties Association and Michael Best Strategies.
Hi, I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
And we're the Insiders. So, the next big news for 2024 in Wisconsin is Tammy Baldwin's up for reelection. Scott, who do the Republicans have lined up on their side to take her on?
I think the field is just beginning to form for this race. Normally, you'd start to be hearing things already for someone a little over a year out from the primaries. But so far, I think the most likely candidate to run is Kevin Nicholson, who ran for the governor's race and ran for the United States Senate before. I think that's the seat he's most interested in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him. He's on active in Milwaukee Talk Radio now as a regular host. And he's keeping his C4 organization, his issue organization going forward. So I think Kevin Nicholson is likely to be in there. Historically, you'd probably look at some of the congressmen or former congressmen, but Mike Gallagher just got a really sweet post in the United States Congress, one that's right up his alley, being the head of the committee, taking a look at the threat of China to the United States. So I think he's not likely to give that sort of thing, that forum up in order to run in what would be a difficult race against Tammy Baldwin. I don't think Sean Duffy will give up his good life on Fox television and all the money and comfort that goes with that. So I think that is unlikely. There's some self-funders who've talked about it before, like Eric Hovde. That might be possible. Would Tim Michels do it again? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, that last race was pretty expensive for him. It didn't turn out the way he liked. So I think that is unlikely. Perhaps somebody who's got a free ride, right? Like a state senator who's trying to build their statewide profile, or a county executive who's trying to build their state profile. Those are all possibilities. But at this point, I think the one person most likely to get in is Kevin Nicholson.
I think it's interesting. It's telling. Scott is right. This is getting to be a little bit late to not have more people talking about it. I think a lot of the reason is Tammy won with, a double-digit margin last time, and you just don't see that. She ran some great ads. I think she's got really good campaign team, and I think that she runs strong races. She hasn't made any missteps. So I think that it's going to be hard in 2024. It certainly doesn't look like a blowout year for Republicans. And so with that happening, with the continuation of the growth of Dane County, the suburbs moving a little bit more Republican, it's going to be very interesting to see if the Republicans can put up anyone who is really a strong candidate that can run a competitive race against her. I think to some extent it might be dependent upon whether it looks like DeSantis getting huge traction against Biden, but I think we could be in a period here where we start to see a gradual separation between Republicans and Democrats in statewide races. I think the growth areas right now are areas that are growing more Democratic, whether it's Dane County in terms of margins for Democrats and numbers of Democrats, or the wild counties where it's both numbers and margins, which are shrinking for Republicans. So it'll be interesting to see, but I do think that is going to be part of the phenomenon. And I think Tammy Baldwin might be a breakout year for Democrats to see that we look pretty dominant in statewide elections. It'll be interesting to see.
The one thing I would point out is that if we were having this conversation about the governor's race 2 years ago, neither of us would have predicted that Tim Michels would be in that race, or that Tim Rantham would be in that race. It's Wisconsin politics is a fascinating thing because there are always surprises, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a candidate we're not talking about right now who runs for the United States Senate on the Republican side in 2024.
I think Scott's absolutely right. We'll see you next time, folks.
Listening to The Insiders with Chuck Chvala and Scott Jensen, sponsored by the Wisconsin Counties Association and Michael Best Strategies.